Good afternoon, Speed Gaming, and welcome to Game 2 of the finals in the ALTTPR Link to the Past Randomizer League Finals. Today, you have me. My name is Tracy, and with me today is Drossi. How you doing, Drossi?
I'm doing great. I am really psyched for this race between two runners who are really at the top of the game. It's the only way I can put it. What do you think about this matchup?
It's a great matchup. We have Jet versus Schulzer. Jet, in our mode today, we have an interesting one. Jet, of course, always likes his Key Sandy, so he chose Key Sandy. Schulzer picking inverted, and then Jet countering with an assured sword. So definitely some interesting stuff. We did end up with a Saha bot of hard mode, and I think that's the only weird thing that Saha did for us today. But yeah, should be a good one.
Yeah, it's actually like defeat Ganon, you know? And both of our runners start out in the Dark Chapel.
Interesting. A lot of times you see, because if you start out at the Dark Link's house, at least you get an item. No item in the Dark Chapel.
Right, and if that item happens to be a big 20 or some other larger amount of rupees, you can go play archery game and start farming up rupees.
Yeah, which is always a nice thing.
So instead, we're gonna, single rupees, yay, is our tier 1 tree pull.
Not very useful.
And meanwhile, Schulzer is gonna be farming magic and bombs here and just taking Death Warp after Death Warp.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard play to do in Inverted, because this room will give you bombs, will give you magic. You just do it over and over again and keep dying until you've got what you feel like is enough. You'd also do a couple of checks here. And we see a small key to Ganon's Tower, which isn't really going to help us much right now. Maybe not at all, really.
Well, I mean, it is defeat Ganon. You do want one key going in, but we'll probably find more than one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need one key going in. It is nice not to have to go down and get the one under the pot. So certainly it's useful, but not going to do much for us right now.
Or alternatively, to not have to defeat the mini Helmas.
Yeah. But yeah, we do have the matchup here. I mean, we talk about these runners. Schulzer 9-2 throughout the season, and Jet only having one loss. His loss to Aussie in the last round. In fact, Fendrana Drifters didn't have any losses until they faced Shaq Tool's Digging Game in the previous round, and finally got 2 losses, both of them courtesy of Aussie. Jet having been the victim of one of those. So Jet looking to get right back on track here in Game 2 of the finals.
And for Jet personally, that was his first loss in league play since week 1 of season 2.
Yeah, pretty impressive streak. And considering he also won the tournament, the last full tournament, pretty impressive run for Jet. Really still going, to be honest. Yeah.
And meanwhile, while we were talking about that, Schulzer did start in Dark Blink's house and found the gloves there. And here we are in Hype Cave, and that green 20 was probably an armor upgrade.
Yeah, nothing else is
hard mode.
Yeah, it's too early for anything else to be replaced. And a hammer. And so a whole lot of money, which getting that money early, you know, money in Inverted is really nice because you can do dig game, you can do chess game, and he's got 340 rupees, so that's going to be a good start for the money for him. But it looks like he's going to head over maybe to Pod, follow that Pod. He got a Pod small key, maybe following that a little bit.
And a bow and a hammer, so theoretically, if a whole lot of keys showed up in Pod, we could finish it.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, if the big key showed up, he could just do the boss, but that wouldn't be in Logic. Pod Logic always being an interesting thing in Key Sandy, where you need 6 keys for a bunch of things to be logically available, but we tend to ignore that.
But you do kind of need the big key regardless of anything.
Yeah, big key's is an important thing. And also 3 hearts is awfully low. Just 20 on the ledge there. At this point, he's got enough money to ignore that.
And Jet now doing the Dark Link in Hype Cave, so he'll get his hammer and wonder if he will follow Schulzer east. Yeah, finding that money is also nice because then hey, you don't have to worry about Kiki money. You don't have to worry about money in the Village of Outcasts. Really, the only thing else you'll need more money than this for is Zora.
Yeah, and inverted Zora doesn't really come into play for a while. I mean, you need the Light World access. Technically, well, they have the gloves, so Light World access would get it for them. But a lot of runners won't want to go just for that unless they can also do the other checks at the same time.
Now, Assured Sword is interesting. I mean, we don't know where the other swords are. Just that a lot of the inverted matches we've been seeing have been vanilla swords, which means that all the swords require Light World access, which means that you don't have to do Aga Tower, and that's kind of nice. So we might actually have to do Aga Tower here for our Light World access.
Yeah, kind of nice when you don't have to do Aga Tower for those assured swords. But we did have a seed, I believe it was in the Open League, where all 3 of the 4 assured swords were behind the mirror. Three of them are behind the mirror, and the mirror was in GT with Swamp a pendant. So don't need to see that again. That was a Moon Pearl that Schulzer just dug out of pod, so that's a nice find.
Speaking of our Light World, that is our Light World access because we have the hammer and the glove.
Yes, that is. But with the bow, you may as well at least do a few other checks here. I don't know that he did spend the small key. I don't think I would have spent the small key. I might have saved that because you can do all these checks without it. But you know, it's not that big a deal. 5 keys will full clear it for these guys since they'll both be able to do hammer jump if they want to. So it'll be fine.
I mean, if you don't do the sword,
sword and sword. Well, we're done with sword.
Next is gonna be a green 20, which would have been butter sword if this weren't hard mode. Mark my words. Well,
maybe Jet doing an opposite route. We'll see for sure if that happens. Yeah. Talk about your assured swords.
Yeah. And yeah, the runners both came in here without arrows, so all they have for arrows is the 5 they grabbed, that Schulzer just grabbed under that pot that Jet's going to be grabbing as he comes through.
Yeah, a little bigger deal for Jet since he hasn't picked up the swords yet. He's got to make sure he gets the red mimic with the arrows, and then, you know, if he misses the blue ones, it kind of sucks to use a fighter sword on them, but you can.
Yeah, so let's see how Jet routes this. I mean, I guess he'll use the hammer, knock down the whack-a-moles, and then have to go around the vanilla way because he doesn't have the boots.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. We do see a map to Swamp Palace, so if one of these guys does a map check, we can find out whether Swamp's a pendant or a crystal.
But the thing about Jet's routing here is that he now has that key to check the back.
Yeah, he can actually do a little bit more if he wants to. Or he could save it in case the big key comes up and he wants to just beat the dungeon. We'll see what he chooses to do. He's going to have to be a little careful. He's on half a heart. Meanwhile, Schulzer can do some South Shore checks.
Yeah, given our starting points, that's almost certainly the easiest portal to be taking, the one at the north end of Swamp.
Yeah, it's a good one. And a whole lot of checks over there, because we do have, as he's doing the dam right now, and of course, he'll probably route to the east and go do Mini Moldorm Cave.
Did he check the 5-6, though? I don't think so. I
don't think he did. We have a Quake Medallion, which is always a big to-be-determined item. And frankly, the worst of the medallions in their own rights.
I mean, since this is Defeat Ganon and not all dungeons, it is useful to know where the crystals are, so I'm a little bit surprised he didn't.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Jet's out of money. He can hammer jump this if he wants, but that'll mean he'll leave 2 in-logic checks behind. Oh, and half magic for Schulzer. And a big key to Eastern.
Yeah, so even though Eastern isn't technically fully in logic without the lamp, Lamp, who needs lamp at this level? I'm sure, that's now on Schulzer's mind to do a full clear of Eastern.
Oh, for sure. And with that tempered sword, the difficult dark room, like there's the dark room that needs the lamp for Foley and Logic, the one that get to the big key. Oh, there's an ice rod for Jet, which may or may not be important because I suspect Schulzer will get there eventually. But anyway, Eastern Palace, the easier dark room, of course, is the one where you don't have the torches to light up, and the harder one is the one where you do. But with that tempered sword, it makes those Igors really easy to just kill, and so not too bad a room in that case.
Speaking of tempered sword, Jet never went back for it.
Nope. So you got an ice rod instead. So we might find out where that fourth sword is.
And it looks like Jet is gonna do. Well, no, he's not going for the portal yet.
Looks like
he's going to do Village of
Outcasts. Checks. Like this, the Sea House checks is one that you often see very early. It's one of the few ones you can get without any money or any bombs right away.
I don't think Jet has a shortage of money, though.
Nope, not at this point.
Did we see 3 300s already?
Something like that. Yeah, and Schulzer is going to do some fake flipper action. And another pod small key there for Jet.
Wouldn't the Village of Outcasts play have been nice first thing to get that key?
Yeah, an extra key, yep. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a common early play. No, we just got a compass there in the Waterfall Ferry, so Schulzer will be able to see what items he picks up. There's another Ganon's Tower small key. Schulzer does not have as much money, though, so he's not going to be going to Zora.
Now you don't have to go downstairs or beat the mini Helmas.
Perfect. Yeah, assuming the big key is not in Ganon's Tower, yeah, we won't have to see any of the basement.
And the Meyer small key you don't really need for anything except to put the fire-locked side in Logic.
Yeah, it takes 3 of them to put the fire side in Logic, but you only need 1 to actually go there. Actually, you don't even need 1 to go there. It's just, the Logic, of course. A reminder to everybody, the way the key logic works is the game always assumes you're going to use the keys in the worst way possible. And you can lock yourself out of that side if you use your keys in the wrong way, if the keys were placed in certain ways. So that's why if you go to that fire lock side, there's always if there's a small key in one chest, the big key will always be in the other one.
And while we were discussing that, Jet picked up the flute in Thieves' Town. The flute's kind of interesting in Inverted. It's not quite as useful as it is in a regular open or standard mode. You can only flute around the Dark World with it, but you have to activate it in the Light World first.
And a mirror.
Well, between the flute and the mirror, we're definitely going to have good access to places now.
Green Pendant Misery Mire, so we may never go there.
But hey, the flute will get us access to the area.
It will. Big key to Skull Woods and a cape over in Saha. Big key to Skull Woods is essentially a fetch quest, since the only thing it opens is the big chest.
And now we're going to see from Jet a whole lot of checks.
Yeah, it looks like he's head over towards Kakariko.
Yeah, I was wondering whether he'd do the 2 Lost Woods checks, but I guess he's putting those off a bit.
And Schulzer going to go into Eastern.
It's actually a bit of an interesting call to put off the Lost Woods checks there, because you do Kakariko, then you're at the bottom of Kakariko, and you probably don't walk back to the Lost Woods at that point.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out how to route that in properly. A third Ganon's Tower small. There are modes where getting all those Ganon's Tower small keys is really, really interesting. It just unfortunately doesn't happen to be one of them.
We also just got a second Meyer key, I think I saw.
Mm-hmm.
As Schulzer pulled the Hera big key.
Which could be important if we don't find a hook shot to skip that big chest, or could be another fetch quest item. That big chest could have something.
Now, not that we have a fire source yet, but seeing those 2 Myers keys come up quickly, and Oh, Swamp Small. That's important because
That's a big one.
That's access to the whole dungeon.
Yeah, probably the most notorious small key in Key Sandy because Swamp Palace. It's almost like it's big key. You just can't do anything there. You get one chest you can get to without it.
Disclaimer: we still don't have flippers, so.
Yeah, flippers would help to go into Swamp, but it is possible to fake flipper into the water in Swamp Palace. It's just not possible to get out of the water. Okay, so far it looks like Schulzer's only found a Bombos medallion, which is a much more useful medallion if it's not for a dungeon.
Jet's also discussing how, with Jet having found that mirror, while he's in Kakariko, he can actually do things like the smith and hammer pegs that the mirror gets you around the Titansmith's block. And in fact, in Inverted, the only thing hard locked by Titansmiths is the King's Tomb.
Yep. Also, the other thing I'm going to point out is since we know that Misery Mire is a medallion, we might not actually need any medallions. Turtle Rock, with that mirror readily available, can be accessed with the mirror, and you don't necessarily need to open it up with a medallion. That's assuming Turtle Rock is even a crystal, so we don't even know that yet.
Yeah, I'm still annoyed that Schulzer didn't check the bomb shop so that we'd at least find out 2 of our crystals.
Yeah, would be helpful. Maybe Jet will do it for us, depending on what kind of loop he decides to take here.
And other than that Hera Big Key, I don't think we've really seen much in Eastern.
Yeah, a whole lot of to be determined. Yeah, the Bombos was there, but we don't know if we'll need it. It gets us Ice Palace.
Right, we don't know when the Fire Rod's going to show up, so, could be useful for Ice Palace.
And if Mire ends up being required for some reason, it could be the entry into Mire. Won't be, like I said, Turtle Rock we can get in with the mirror. Now, Schulzer doesn't have the mirror yet, but I can't imagine he'll put off Kakariko for that long. We do see a dig game check over here from Jet. I don't think that was on purpose. Schulzer planning to finish the dungeon. I don't think he wanted to death warp there, so having a little bit of trouble with those dark rooms, I think. Yeah, it's definitely one of the harder dark rooms of the game. I think it's a little underrated in its difficulty when you don't have at least the Fire Rod to help with it. And a vanilla book sitting there on the library.
Why not? And if desert is a crystal, the book is hard required too.
It is. So that's a different way to lock desert behind boots, but there you have it. It is.
Meantime, since we've been discussing, the Fire Rod and fire sources, let's get a little prediction in chat here. Whether you think we're first going to get our fire source through the lamp or the Fire Rod.
Okay, this time Schulzer has no trouble getting through the dark room. And Jet, we'll see what's on the Smiths in just a second here.
Okay, maybe was the prediction
even? Was it even done yet?
Sorry about that, folks.
It was a good prediction thing. It was a good thing to put in. Just Murphy's Law doing its thing, I guess. And hammer pegs without boots is always painful.
But yeah, I'm wondering, with those medallions, now with a fire source, with 2 Mire small keys showing up, if a 3rd Mire small key shows up, I'm going to be suspicious that something's fire locked in Mire.
Yeah, I would be too. Especially if we have the right medallion for it. Although Jet has none of those medallions yet.
Right. And Schulzer, who does have medallions, got the first crystal of the game at 1840-ish.
Yeah, and a very nice quick kill on the Armos Knights he had there. So, and fortunately for him, it is a crystal. Oh, there are the boots.
See how nice the game's being?
Interesting that we're still on 4 hearts here, though. Almost feels like the type of hard mode the way it used to be, where instead of having the hearts all turn into green 20s once you get a certain amount, they just, just whatever, they have hearts in specific places. And, Jet's going to go grab that book and maybe head straight over to Desert.
I mean, he'll be in the area when he turns in the purple chest. He can check Bombos while he's at it. And Schulzer's about to get the boots, too. Probably mirror and do Stumpy. I don't think we've seen Stumpy yet.
I don't believe we have. There's actually another one of those free checks that you get very easily at the very beginning of an inverted seed. It's like, there's very few free checks in inverted.
Well, you were saying we only had 4 heart containers.
Here we go. Now we have 5, which is better than 4. Yeah, they're only
25% improvement.
So for the hearts, they're going to get 16. They can get up to 16 pieces of heart, and after that, they'll turn into green 20s. And I believe it's 7 heart containers. Although, interestingly enough, the Sank heart is always a Sank heart. So you'll see sometimes runners will end up at 13 hearts, and that Sank heart will eventually show up. Meanwhile, green 20s all around us. Ooh, small key 2, Hera. Fetch quest small key.
Interesting. And that combined with the big key we got in Eastern makes Hera full clearable. Though Hera's a wee bit of a production to get to in inverted, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, the mound is a little weird in inverted. Hyrule Castle small key, which with the gloves really isn't that interesting.
And Schulzer's now going to get all his stuff from Kakariko, and I wonder if he's gonna head up into Lost Woods and we'll get to see what's there.
Yeah, I want to see what's there. But we are going to get the desert play from Jet, which makes a lot of sense. He's got everything he needs to full clear this, so he might as well.
He doesn't have any keys.
Key. No keys. He has everything he needs to get things that are not behind keys. It's what I meant to say.
Which amounts to 2 checks in logic, and then he can always steal a key from the back and get the right side here.
Yeah, not a fan of the key stealing play in this situation. If you knew for sure this was a pendant, then maybe you go for that.
I mean, he can also save scum.
Yeah, we have seen that play before. We've seen that kind of play bite people pretty badly a few times.
It's also possible that the small key sitting on Desert Ledge is the Desert Small.
Could happen. Or it could be 20 rupees. 20 rupees on the torch. We'll see what's on the Desert Ledge.
Yeah, no, it is a small key. We'll just have to find out which one.
And small key to Skull Woods.
So it looks like Jet wants to see the mire area, and Schulzer is giving us that Lost Woods look.
Bombs and bombs. And a 20 in the drop down.
So anything useful in Mushroom Spot, or did... I totally didn't catch what that medallion was.
It was Quake.
Okay, so Schulzer can get in.
Yep. So I am suspicious of Meyer now with the Quake available so early, and I don't know that's the play I would make right now. But I would definitely have it in the back of my mind. And Lumberjack having nothing for us.
And Jet's about to get his Quake, which, as I recall, was here in the dam. Or outside the dam.
It was either here or it was in Mini Moldorm. He's going to get it soon, regardless. It was definitely South Shore-ish areas. There it is. It's sitting there in the dam. We do see a small key to Castle Tower. Hopefully we don't need those. I'm trying to think if there's any. I don't think there's. Okay, one small key locks one item.
Right.
So that's about all we could be required to do at this point. Ice Palace big key, which is logically required for Ice Palace if it's a crystal. Well, it's logically required to finish Ice Palace regardless. But really is kind of relegated to another one of those fetch quests because of the between icebreakers and hammer and bomb jumps and all that sort of thing. You don't really need it.
It can make routing easier, though, if you're doing Icebreaker. You don't have to go back and flip the switch.
Yeah, a lot of people will flip the switch regardless, but with the big key, you don't have to. Whereas without the big key, you better flip that switch, or you're going to be really sad when you try and go down to the boss. Now there's back of escape. Thieves Town small. And a Thieves Town big. Okay.
I guess Thieves Town's full clearable.
I guess so. We have a hammer and we have both keys, so there you go. And then maybe where Schulzer's going right now. With this loadout, he shouldn't have too much trouble.
You know, I was thinking with Jet having gotten that second pod key afterwards, he can go and beat pod if he wanted to, though we still don't know whether it's a crystal or a pendant. But he has that mirror, so he could make the Eastern pod play.
He could. I don't think we've gotten any map checks. We haven't found that many maps to begin with, and we still haven't had anybody check the red crystals.
Yeah, though in Jet's case, he wasn't really in the vicinity because he was coming from desert.
Right.
Jet also has Zora money, so I'm expecting that to be checked now.
Yeah, I think that's where he's headed right now. Meanwhile, Schulzer's going to probably full clear Thieves Town. We did see the front four from Jet earlier. Yeah, I don't recall there being much here, but there was that Ganon's Tower small key, that is not really interesting. You know, and the keys that we don't necessarily need.
Meanwhile, Schulzer will be picking up his flute shortly.
Okay, let's see what Zora has for us today.
I'm assuming Jet knows Ancilla Glitch, but it's a map, so we don't need it.
No, you don't do that for a map. But we do pay 500 rupees for a piece of heart that we don't even pick up.
Love lessons.
And really, in a hard mode seed, you're going to get another piece of heart anyway, since you only have 16 that you can pick up. So even more so than in normal, not picking up those pieces of heart makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I feel like in a lot of hard mode seeds, runners wind up with the maximum 14 anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I think I don't think I've ever seen anyone a hard mode where you get less than 12, and 13 or 14 is pretty standard depending where that Sankart is sitting. Catfish is a new check, I believe, and a very bad check. Those bombs not really doing much for us at this point.
And we are going to see that Eastern and probably pod play.
Yeah, I suspect Jet does Eastern first, just because, if nothing else, because he can full clear that without doing any kind of shenanigans. And maybe gets a extra pod key. I don't believe there was an extra pod key in here, but he doesn't know that.
No, doesn't Schulzer have... Didn't Schulzer pick up the second pod key in Kakariko Outcasts area? I think that's where Jet got his second pod key.
I believe he probably did. Yeah, I want to say he has another pod key. Okay, we got the basement of Thieves Town. We got anything here? 20 rupees. Ugh. Big chest. You got anything for us in the big chest? No.
So
hey, we can now confirm that he's checked 7 out of 8 chests. I joke, but I kind of like compasses. I mean, they're definitely not needed, but it is kind of nice to get that confirmation in certain dungeons more so than others. But here, you definitely don't need it.
Yeah, definitely. You're less likely to be like, did I get this? Oh, I'm missing this many checks, so I must have not gotten it. But yeah, regarding checks, Jet and Pod, he can pick up his tempered sword as well when he goes back in there, if he goes back in there. And at that point, he'd only be orphaning the vanilla big key chest and harmless hellway.
Right. Just a piece of hearted blind. It is a crystal, though. So nothing in terms of items in Thieves Town in the back, but a second crystal for Schulzer is nice. I suspect he'll finish off doing the Village of Outcasts plays that Jet already did. Oh, there's another one of those pod small keys.
Oh, there was the pod key.
Yeah, okay. That must be the one we were thinking of.
So Schulzer hadn't picked it up until now. I knew it was somewhere in Kacker Village.
But yeah, unfortunately now we're at the, we're going to check what the other player has checked. Point of the game. So hopefully Jet will finish off this Eastern and we'll see more pod. Also with that mirror, pod much easier to deal with because probably the reason why he doesn't go back in and get those other checks, you can't mirror out. I mean, without them, you'd have to do death warps or also do weird routing. And yes, to answer the question, chat, you do need a small key to reach Helma. In fact, Helmasaur, the Dark Maze, Harmless Hellway, and the Big Key Chest, none of those are in logic until you have all 6 keys, because there are too many ways you can use your keys badly and lock yourself out otherwise.
Okay, while the runners are retracing each other's steps, I figured we'd get another prediction here, since we have not seen the end of pod yet, and I'm guessing Jet's going to go in there after this. You think it's going to be a crystal or a pendant?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I guess crystal's more likely because we have 5 crystals outstanding and only 2 pendants outstanding, since we know Myers won.
But we found important stuff in pods, so that tells me it's going to be a pendant.
By the way, did you see what Schulzer just pulled out of Skullwood's Big?
I didn't know that. Was it a... No, I missed it.
That was a Desert Big.
Ooh. Oh, that's a dungeon he can go do. Now, logically, you need the small key to clear desert, but if you have the big key, you just do it anyway.
Yeah, and then you hope nothing's on the right side.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if there's something on the right side, I mean, it only bites you if it's a pendant and there's something on the right side. Which, you know, could happen.
And there's Jet Skullwood's Big Key, which will eventually get him the Desert Big Key.
Okay, now we're going to get the pod play.
No.
Or not? No, not doing the pod play. Okay, Jet.
That prediction might have to sit there a while.
Looks like Jet's going to follow that Skullwood's big key right away.
Makes sense. And he has the fire rod, too, so he can finish Skullwoods.
Yeah, I think that's what the play is here for him. And he's got one Skullwood small, which makes routing here a lot easier.
Now, Schulzer being back in the Village of Outcasts, there's a decent chance he'll do the Smith Chain after that and get his fire rod.
Yep.
Or, no, he's in Kakariko, but same place.
Yeah, I mean, he's activating his flute, which is kind of important at this point. And he can just mirror right back into the Dark World. The way the mirror works in Invert kind of hurts my brain sometimes.
Yeah, trying to keep track of, how you get to certain places.
Yeah,
It's pretty crazy. To answer chat, no. In Key Sanity in general, or any mode involving a map shuffle, dungeon music is random.
Yeah, it's always weird when you get into Ganon's Tower and you get pendant music. So, although I always thought Ganon's Tower should have had Hyrule Castle music because it's a different type of dungeon.
I still like it, though, when Ganon's Tower has pendant dungeon music, because it's just so incongruous.
It really is. Okay, a little surprised that Jet didn't grab the small key from the Gibdo there, just to make it easier to do the front of Skullwoods parts that we haven't checked yet. I mean, you could fall down the hole and do all those checks without another small key. Or you could wait till he finds another small key, but that would have been a little more efficient.
Half magic paying off there.
And just a pendant.
Well, can always figure out the crystals by process of elimination if you can get all the pendants, right?
I know, right? Well, yeah, at this point, Jet knowing where the green pendant is, any dungeon he does either gives him a crystal or gives him knowledge of where the crystals are. So I guess that's a nice thing.
Okay, he's using this portal again, which would make sense for a desert play because without the mitts, we can't just flute to 6.
Right.
And looks like he's going to check 5-6. Nope.
They're just baiting us. It's like this is an escape play.
It's like, who cares if anything's on Pyramid Fairy? We'll just find out when the time comes.
And just bombs in the Uncle chest. Let's see if Uncle has anything for us. Oh, our last sword. Well, there you go.
Vanilla Uncle.
Now, I really hope Schulzer checks that, because I don't know what that's supposed to look like when the sword's going to turn into a green 20.
Is Uncle going to hold up a green 20?
I mean, I doubt that, but I want to know if the sword will be there, if we'll actually see the sword or not. Okay, let's see what we got over here. Small key to ice. Okay.
And I believe that's our second. Yeah, we already have one, so.
Another not really needed small key, but not terrible to have either.
Oh, right. And the big key was something like Graveyard Ledge, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Because Schulzer hasn't. He checked that area, and Jet has not gotten there yet.
So let's see how Schulzer now does desert. He can certainly open the big chest, and then I assume he'll do land mows.
So interesting that Jet did make sure he grabbed all these keys. I wonder if he's going to take this all the way to the back of Escape rather than doing that from the back. Because you could even leave one of those keys.
That then gets him up to Sanctuary, and then he can do like Bonk Rocks and Graveyard Ledge and stuff.
Yep. That's pretty efficient. I mean, otherwise, because in Inverted, it's really hard to get up to that North Light World area. And he's got the fire rod if he wants to light the torches. Okay, Schulzer are going to go to finish off Desert. Bottle of Blue is a nice safety.
Yeah. I'll take it. No progression, but still.
Yeah, we already checked Sick Kid for those bombs, so the second bottle doesn't get us anything new.
Schulzer not bothering with a save scum here. Like, theoretically, if Landmo doesn't have anything on it and turns out to be a pendant, save scum could be useful, but probably more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, and if you did it and then PED became a thing, that would be really bad. Okay, Jet gonna get his Thieves Town package. Half magic with that Fire Eye should make this a pretty easy fight for Schulzer.
He gets the zero cycle.
And gets a small key to Ganon's Tower. Well, we have all our Ganon's Tower. Is that 3? I guess that's only 3. Feels like all of them.
Speaking of 3, though, that's Schulzer's 3rd crystal.
Yeah, I feel like Schulzer's prioritizing dungeons a little bit more and gotten some payout for it, getting those 3 crystals.
Chat's bringing up the bomb vendor. No one's talked to the bomb vendor. They've been trolling us.
No, they don't want to know who's got the 5-6 crystals.
And I think I just saw a regular crystal on Swamp on that very brief map check. No, it was a 5-6 on Swamp.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, Schulzer heading into Misery Mire. Here we go. Also interesting to note that 42 minutes in, neither one of these guys has gone up to the mountain.
Well,
perhaps that's where Jet's heading right now. Or maybe not. Looks like he'll do the lumberjack check.
I mean, you have to go up to it from the Dark World, and at that point, he'd probably just mirror.
Yep.
Makes it a lot easier to return the old man, too, if you flute up there. No, that shouldn't matter.
Oh, and Jet never, that's right, Jet never did the Lost Woods check, so he's doing those right now.
And if he's here, we're probably going to see a Thieves Town play.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Meanwhile, Schulzer is about to answer that question of, is there anything fire-locked in Mire?
No, there's a piece of heart fire-locked in Mire.
Right, well, there are 2 things fire-locked in Mire.
Is there anything good? We're still missing 1 small key to put this fully in logic, but I mean, that small key could be someplace dumb. So no reason not to check this if you're going into Mire anyway.
Right. You have to wonder why the game handed us Meyer access and 2 small keys pretty quickly.
Yep. And no cane, no big key. He's not going to get baited into the back very likely. I mean, I suppose it's possible that the cane and the big key are in here, but I wouldn't expect that. Ooh, just a compass. A very useless compass, because we're not going to be picking anything up again in this tower, I don't think.
That was a total false lead.
Yep. Randomizer does that sometimes. But we do still have a few more just regular checks here. Small key to pod. So logically, we have to go here.
Assuming pod's not the other pendant.
Good point. Still could be. That jury's still out. We still have that prediction going. I guess the prediction's done, but it was out there. Oh, that's a little more spicy. That hook shot sitting there in Meyer. That they do need that. Swamp being a crystal, you can't hover Swamp Palace. I don't know if either of these guys can hover in general, but you can't hover Swamp Palace. That hook shot is hard required. That's a really big
I have to imagine. I have to imagine Jet will go in there at some point for the same reason, just that he saw, 2 small keys and the Meyer medallion and everything.
Yeah.
And hey, we're seeing the mountain 45 minutes in.
There we go. Start on Spectacle Rot, we don't care about. Cart container in Spectacle Rot, we don't care about.
I mean, certainly nice to have, especially when you know you're not getting a mail upgrade, but these runners,
Yeah, and like I said, again, it's hard mode, so they're gonna find heart containers and heart pieces elsewhere. And those will just become big 20s eventually. And we're gonna get to see the long trek that is the old man rescue in inverted.
Okay, so chat's asking about game 3. The thing is, since this is a best of 5 series, the first 3 games can be played in any order, but by convention we call the power game game 3 and wisdom's game 2 and courage's game 1. But Courage will be played third. That's actually scheduled for Sunday afternoon at 2:10.
Yep. And the old man's just holding a bottle for us. I guess we get to make it. Yeah, I guess it's a lot faster with the mirror. I've seen so many of these seeds where you don't have the mirror when you're rescuing the old man. You have to go all the way up and around and, over the river and through the woods. And with the mirror, we can just mirror quickly to the location.
And Jet never ceases to surprise. I was thinking, he has all these Ice Palace keys, but he doesn't have the Cane of Samaria, and he doesn't have the flippers to put it in Logic. And if you're going to do Samaria-less Ice Palace, you might as well at least wait for the flippers to put it in Logic. But
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this play. He's got other good things to do. I can understand staying out of Pendant Meyer. He's going to have to get there eventually. He's also not got the hook shot for this, which is, there are logical requirements potentially for the hook shot. Although with Key Sandy, it's not going to be a huge difference.
Yeah, he's got all the keys. And
he's got all the keys.
GT Big, which is nice to not have to go looking for.
Yeah. Well, we know. Well, GT will now be just climbing up the tower because there's not going to be anything in there that we need. And speaking of flippers, they are in Paradox Cave.
So I wonder what this will do for Schulzer.
gives him Swamp Palace.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, he pulled the small key at some point.
Yeah, he's got it. There's the other Castle Tower small key, which we don't care about because we're not doing all dungeons.
I mean, we haven't looked in Lumberjack, have we? Or did we?
No, we saw. I forget what it was, but it's definitely not something memorable. Definitely not something needed.
Oh, okay.
I will say this. I do enjoy getting to see the occasional Ice Palace bomb jump from the runners. Just to remind people that it is important to know that strat because that cane could be behind it.
Yeah, though I have no idea what the hookshot logic is for Ice Palace when you've got all the keys anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the hookshot only comes into play because of the key locations. So I think it just doesn't matter. It's just the hookshot's such a nice item to have in there because of the pen gators.
Though Jet seems to be doing pretty well so far with tempered sword spins.
Yeah, the tempered sword is also a nice thing to have for it too. Oh, speaking of Cane to Samaria, the mountain was the place to be, and a big key to Swamp. It's just fetch quest. I mean, it might matter. It's an item.
Watch something be in that chest.
Maybe. Oh, there's a big key to Misery Mire. Oh, so when Jet goes into Mire, he might do more of it. I hope he'll do the big chest, but he may do. We'll see if he does that before or after the mountain.
And Moldorm gets the better of Schulzer.
Yeah, Moldorm will do that sometimes. Never feels good. And just some arrows on Moldorm and another crystal. That's crystal number 4 for Schulzer.
Yeah, and we know Swamp's another one. Really just the question of the 3 dungeons we don't know, where is that third pendant?
Yeah, and Schulzer does not yet know that Skullwood's the pendant since he hasn't done it yet. I'm really hoping that this doesn't end up being a pendant for Jet here.
Well, since either TR or Ice has to be a crystal, either he didn't waste his time because Ice will be a crystal, or finding that TR big key is big.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's another Turtle Rock small key. Turtle Rock is really weird and inverted though, because with the mirror, if there's nothing else in Turtle Rock, you really need the one small key.
Yeah, and we got that
they can
first
go to
one
Laser Bridge,
pretty early.
yeah. See, Hookshot Cave.
Didn't quite get the... Oh, no!
Ooh, Jet.
No!
Unfortunately, I believe the bottles all have like bees in them. He's going to go right back in.
No, the bottles have goo in them. He could have used a bottle. I just... You know, he saw
there was a red somewhere. Yeah, that's right.
He saw the third puff exploding, and, you know, at that point, you don't think about there's still a last piece of ice to fall that can kill you.
Yeah. And in fact, there is a Turtle Rock small key on Laser Bridge. And a pod small key.
That's just like that is literally the most unfortunate cold stare death I have ever seen. I've never
That's a really bad one, yeah.
I've never seen one as the third puff was starting to explode.
No, I don't think I've seen that either. Well, and as you're making a good point in chat that once the explosions start, you can't pause to get to the bottle. So that's really, really rough. Oh, Schulzer, you were right there. No, wait, that's the light. Dark world. Never mind. We'll never find out what the 5-6 crystals are.
At least the one we don't already know.
Yep. So Schulzer just going to go ahead and buy a blue bottle. He might make the ice play now, too, because for him, it's in logic. He's got those slippers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Jet that, the mountain would have been a better play, Meyer would have been a better play, and he has the desert big key. He could have gone to Meyer.
Yeah, I'm like the ice play. It just doesn't feel good. No hook shot, even though it's not logically needed because key sanity. No cane to make it faster, and no flippers to put it in logic. It doesn't feel like a good play, and I really hope it's not I really hope it's a crystal for him. At least he gets something out of this. And Schulzer going in here now, even if it's a pendant now, Schulzer's going to get that Turtle Rock big key as well. So any advantage from that is gone.
Yeah, no, Schulzer's basically got a 2 crystal lead on Jet at this point, though they are relatively fast dungeons. But Jet will also have to go into Meyer at some point.
Yeah, I think the biggest part of Schulzer's lead right now, and it's hard to really call anything a lead before go mode, but really that hook shot in Meyer is, I think, the biggest point there. Okay, there we go. That's a cold stir dead. Piece of heart, and it is a pendant.
No. Oh no.
So if you're Jet, do you just go pull Ped now and hope it's something?
Well, that does resolve our pod prediction.
It does indeed. Took long enough. Well, at least from Jet's standpoint, Schulzer will do this dungeon as well, but he won't spend nearly this much time. I haven't been able to, not only having been able to do Icebreaker. I'm making the assumption that he'll survive the fight. I guess that's not necessarily a guarantee, but I mean, you don't expect anyone to die in these at this level. It happens, as Jet showed us.
Yeah. Well, one nice thing is at least Jet will be, assuming he does Meyer after this, he'll be coming in without Samaria, so we don't have to worry about him going all the way to Vitreous.
Yep.
Assuming and maybe there's something on Ped or...
Yeah, maybe there's something on the big chest, so...
What do we even need at this point? We're just in key mode, aren't we? Are we even in key mode, or did we turn into go mode while I wasn't looking?
Okay, so we can do Swamp Palace. We have the small key. Pod, we can finish, though not logically. Schulzer needs the Ice Rod out of Pod. That may be something that he doesn't get for a while. With he's got 4 small keys, though. He should be able to full clear it.
Okay, so we're in no mode then.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. Logically speaking, of course, Pod needs all 6, but at this point, no one cares about that. And this might be Schulzer going to Skull Woods. He doesn't know this is a... Yeah, if Schulzer full clear Skull Woods, that'll be good for Jet. And of course, I talked about Jet pulling Ped, but he can't do that unless he actually defeats Meyer, which he can't do because he doesn't have a cane.
But I think we're going to get a Ped check from Schulzer here.
Yeah, I think so.
Time for that Ped hype in chat.
And technically, we need the lamp that's out there somewhere, but no one's going to care about that either.
Well, that's just like the missing keys that, technically we need.
Yep, exactly.
More pod keys.
Actually, I'm trying to look at this. Pod being a crystal, the lamp is logically required, but Turtle Rock in inverted, the lamp is not necessarily logically required. In this seed, it's not, because you can go straight from Laser Bridge.
Right, but all 4 small keys are logically required for Turtle Rock because the game assumes that you just wasted them in the front.
Exactly. So it depends on where those small keys, if any of those small keys are in weird places. And did we ever see the medallion for? We did not see the medallion for Turtle Rock. But Pod will always logically require the lamp. So Schulzer gets his pendant. Here we go. Jet's going into Mire now.
And Schulzer will get the other chest here in the back of Skull Woods, and then he'll check a ped.
So both runners know which crystals they need to do at this point. It's just a question of, Jet needs to get to the mountain after he gets his hook shot here, and the hook shot might lead him up there because that helps him get a lot of those checks. Schulzer, on the other hand, needs to go to Pod, which I gotta believe he does soon, but he might do Swamp first. So if Jet's gonna be able to go mode Swamp for sure, because he'll go to the mountain and get his go mode. Whereas Schulzer, it's a shovel. Oh. Ouch! Oh.
So Schulzer's now got to be in suspense.
So, God, if you're Schulzer, do you finish Mire? I mean, it doesn't take that long. It's like 3. It's for him. It's like, well, he doesn't have the big key yet, but it's like 4 items. Now he's gonna do Swamp Palace. That makes a lot of sense. But this might give. If Jet goes straight to the mountain after finishing this up, this might give Jet a chance to catch up. Because Schulzer's going to full clear this, and Jet won't have to.
Yeah, so Jet needs those flippers out of Paradox and the Cane of Samaria out of Hera Big Chest.
Yep. And when you go to the mountain, he's going to do all that. He's gonna, in addition, he'll be able to just finish Turtle Rock.
And then we just have to hope that he does Hera before Turtle Rock, which, since it's a short dungeon, you generally would.
Oh, yeah. I would think so. I mean, the only part of Turtle Rock you'd be doing anyway is Laser Bridge. But this is really hard to get anywhere else once you do Laser Bridge. That's definitely an end route thing. So I gotta believe you do.
Wait a minute. Of course, right. He won't have the cane unless he does Tower of Hera, so of course he can't do anything besides Laser Bridge.
That is a really good point. It's important. Whereas Schulzer's go mode probably ends up being that Ice Rod, and we don't know when he's going to get to that. Like, I could definitely see him going to Turtle Rock first and doing that before going back to Pod. It does make me very curious where the lamp is, because the Ice Rod is behind that lamp. And just a piece of heart in the Hera Big Chest, so nothing interesting there.
French vanilla compass.
There's that hook shot for Jet. Yeah.
Yeah, is there anything even conceivably useful that Schulzer would be finding here in Swamp?
No.
I guess powder or something like that.
Yeah, powder or a lamp are the only things remotely useful at this point. And powder is just a nice safety item and could also draw him away from going to Pod because it's a check. Lamp, of course, making those dark rooms easier. Looks like he's not doing left side first, which I like. But he might decide to go in there afterwards.
Yeah, you never know. Though it does take a bit longer when you can't dive her down the left side.
Yeah, I think it's overblown how much longer it takes in that situation. And at his go mode, he's just missing a ice rod, really.
Right, no, I get it.
So
One
you do
item
back
from go
first.
mode.
Yeah, you definitely do the back first. In Key Sandy, if you're not, there's a lot of situations in Key Sandy. We do the left side first, just because there's a good chance you're going to meet a ton of stuff. And just showing us the long route for rescuing the old man.
Schulzer definitely saved time here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He could use the boots and just left the portal in the right place, and I'm a little bit surprised Jet didn't do the same.
Yep. Yeah, if you're wondering why Jet isn't using the boots here, I think it actually slows you down, but you definitely can't run fast with the old man. And Argus with just some arrows. We still don't know what the other pyramid fairy crystal is. Even if they would just pause, we could see if they have two of them.
Well, welcome to the age of quick swap.
Yep. I'm telling you that's the worst part about quick swap. It just we don't get to see the menus, so we don't get to get as much information as commentators and trackers. Okay, Schulzer, where are we headed now? We're not going into left side swamp, so at least he's going to save, not going to lose that time. At least not yet.
Maybe he'll check 5-6.
Yeah, I mean, he go in there. If the bomb's there, it means he has them. We may never know what the other crystal is, because unfortunately, the bomb vendor won't. Yeah, because the bomb vendor won't tell you what the 5-6 crystals are if you already have them.
So, not Turtle Rocker Pod is what we know.
Yep. We may never. Well, we're never gonna know. Yeah, don't drop the bomb. Okay, Jet gets his flippers.
So he'll actually be our first runner into go mode, and then it's just a matter of catching up.
Yeah, I mean, really, when does Schulzer go to pod? And does he full clear it? I mean, he has the keys to do it. Except he opened the front door though. See, so yeah, but getting to the dark maze,
he's left and right.
Fine. He's got 5. That's enough to clear it with what he with what he has. There's that castle tower small key for Jet. He just needs that cane if he goes into hopefully. Okay, where are we headed? Hookshot Cave. This is Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny. That makes sense. You're right here. Oh, see, there it is.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm so glad we got to see that.
Wait, so he was holding a temper sword, and when Jet picked up the temper sword from Uncle was holding the master sword.
Yeah, he was. That's exactly right. Okay, Schulzer now. This is and Schulzer doing the escape right now. This is the time to do it for him.
Right. They're both doing stuff that we know they don't need to do.
Yep. They definitely don't need to fall.
Yeah, Jet's got to be on nerves, especially after that Ice Palace debacle.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember Frostbite in his interview after the last race was saying that he was basically on nerves the whole way.
Yeah, I think he said something about his hands shaking all the way up Ganon's tower. It's so rough because you have no way of knowing where your opponent is in these. Like we knew that he was way ahead in that race, but there's no way he knows that.
Oh no.
No. Oh, okay. This is Mimic Cave.
Still, he has to climb all over again.
Right? I know.
Why is he doing this rather than Hera?
I don't understand either. He knows that Hera is a crystal, so I would just do it.
And then he's...
Hey, it's a lamp!
He's got the mirror out. He's gonna do like
He's gonna.
I don't know. Does Jet hover? Is he gonna friggin' hover his way to Trinex?
Oh God, I hope not. But this is not good for him.
Oh jeez, no. I mean, this was his opportunity to make up time, and
God,
He's just throwing it away.
I don't understand. You have your crystals. Go do them.
And you also know that you have to reclimb the mountain now to get to Hera.
Yep.
Definitely have some questions about his routing to ask him in the race interview.
For sure. Like doing Hookshot Cave and doing Super Bunny totally makes sense. You're there, you can mirror, you can get to them. But I don't understand going to doing these other checks. There's just not that much you can do in Turtle Rock right now. He's going to be able to get one more item. Yeah, because he's going to be able to get the Chain Chomp's room. And everything else is behind the cane.
Yeah, and then what? Is he gonna... okay, so here's Schulzer's flute to 5. So now the clock's ticking for Jet.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Schulzer probably finishes Helmasaur first and then goes back in. I believe that was Sankart.
So now what for Jet? I mean, please tell me he's not going to climb the mountain just so he can drop back down into Laser Bridge.
We can't do Laser
right there.
Oh, he can do Laser Bridge. You don't need a cane for that.
Yeah, it's an extra mountain climb, but you can do it.
Like that's the play. Like I feel like I would do the Crystal Dungeon. I'm big on that. Do the Crystal Dungeon that you can do. Oh, Jet, no. Wow. Okay, meanwhile, Schulzer's going to go ahead and do Helmasaur just like we thought.
Yeah, this is gonna eat up a lot of time for Jet because, I mean, yeah, he can rush Helmasaur, he can go mode Swamp, but that still takes a while.
Yeah, I mean, the dungeons he has left are going to be pretty... All the dungeons he has are pretty quick. But Schulzer has fewer dungeons left.
Yeah. No, Jet's gonna be kicking himself so hard when he turns up that cane.
Yeah, he is. Like, I probably would have put Jet in the lead had he gone straight to Hera before doing... I mean, again, it makes sense to do Hookshot Cave. It makes sense to do Super Bunny. But those other ones where you then have to climb the mountain again, those are things I would do after Hera. After, again, doing the Crystal Dungeon that you can do. He's even going to do the book check here first, which is reasonable. It's not that far out of the way.
I mean, he could do Spike Cave for the meme value, right?
Yeah. Okay, he's going in. Really, that's the only thing he didn't do before this. Yeah, we are now at that point where lots of big 20s are going to show up because I'm not sure if they're out of Pieces of Hearts or out of Container Hearts, but they're out of one of them.
Now, this is fascinating. Jet didn't check the map chest and he didn't Herapot.
As long as he doesn't skip the chest on this level, it makes sense. Like, he's got the small key, so he may be figuring that he might as well just do that at the same time as he does a check for the small key. If the items are not here. And there he gets his cane. And that's go mode for Jet.
1:13:17, about a minute or so before Schulzer will get his go mode.
Schulzer's going to last location that ice rod in here, it looks like, but it's not going to be enough for Jet to catch up, I don't think. And being that this is Key Sandy, there's no big key hunting to help catch Jet up here.
Yeah, pure execution, just going upstairs in GT.
Okay, so now Jet goes to Turtle Rock. And then he does a quick Swamp Palace and a quick pod. But once Schulzer gets this ice rod, he's not going to have anything else to do.
Yeah, I mean, you go up the mountain, you do Turtle Rock, you come back down. Remember that inverted Ganon's Tower is in the Agate Tower location and vice versa.
Yep. Oh yeah, you see how quickly Jet would have been able to do Turtle Rock here, because he wouldn't have touched Laser Bridge if he had done Hera first. Yeah, we'll have to ask him what his thinking was, because I'm a big do the dungeons. Like I said, I've said this several times. Do the dungeons that you can do.
Yeah, the whole ABCD, always be clearing dungeons.
Yep. No problem with the first phase of Trinex here. And Schulzer is about to get his ice rod.
As Jet gets crystal number 5, so yeah, he's basically a full go mode Swamp Palace behind Schulzer.
Yep. The one thing Jet has on Schulzer, it's a small thing, could come into play potentially. Given that we won't get silvers, given that this is hard mode, it is nice to have that lamp for torch glitch. Schulzer could definitely have issues there. I don't think it'll be enough to catch Jet up, but it's definitely something to keep an eye out for.
I mean, Schulzer does have blue goo.
Yep.
I'm also a bit surprised by Jet's routing here. I would have thought it would be faster to take the portal, go up and mirror.
I don't know. And he's doing pod first. Doing pod first makes sense because from swamp you can just run over. You can get the portal there, I guess. This will be a very quick pod for Jet.
Yeah, probably crystal grabs right around the same time, and yeah, this would have been an exceptionally close race if Jet had not gone into Turtle Rock before getting Samaria.
Yep, that's right.
Which is really impressive when you consider all the time Jet ate up with redoing Ice Palace.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, the Ice Palace play was also pretty costly in the end. If he hadn't died in Ice Palace, we'd still be in that close mode, even him having checked the Turtle Rock stuff.
Yeah, right. It was the two things to get. I mean, right, if he had done neither of those, if he hadn't died in Ice or dipped Turtle Rock, he'd have a commanding lead.
He would, I believe. I agree with you.
So, looks like Schulzer will get his crystal first.
And Jet's still having to do Swamp Palace.
Right.
Which is, in Go mode, a pretty quick dungeon, but yeah, not quick enough.
You still have to hit a couple of switches and wait for the water to go.
You sure do.
But that is 7 crystals. There are 22 chests in the basement of Ganon's Tower, and we won't see any of them.
We're not going to see any chests in Ganon's Tower at all. And the only thing you get at this point are heart containers. Literally, that's it. I guess the powder is still out there as a safety, but no one's going to be looking for that.
No one's going to be looking for Cane of Burna either.
Nope. I mean, Cape's better anyway. And Jet going to make his way into Swamp. Schulzer going to make his way over to what would normally be Aga Tower, but here is Ganon's Tower because we're inverted.
Yeah, so what do you think? Maybe 5 minutes difference?
Yeah, it sounds reasonable. And most of it just this part where you have to actually get into Swamp Palace.
Well, that's one of the 2 places you have to hit a switch.
And we got a completely useless compass telling us that Schulzer's checked 0 out of 27 chests in Ganon's Tower.
And it'll stay that way unless he opens the chest after Moldorm for the memes.
Or muscle memory. I know, me personally, I open it all the time. Even when I'll tell myself, no, I'm not checking anything. I don't need anything else. And then you get to the chest after Moldorm and you just do it. It's muscle memory. But 12 hearts is a good amount.
Yeah, even on green mail for these runners.
Yep.
As long as you can withstand a Ganon hug.
And like you said, I'm not sure how much goo he has, but Schulzer definitely has some goo.
Yeah, he's got at least 1 blue. I think he used his red.
He might have
Palace.
2. He actually might have 2 because he picked 1 up, and I remember he bought 1. So I don't know if he's used either one of those. So he's looking pretty good.
Oh
for
yeah,
all that.
right. He did go and buy that blue goo.
And just like that, he's already through the gauntlet.
And thanks to half magic, got enough fire rod shots if he can 0 cycle this too. Not quite. Commentator's curse.
Yeah, very little magic.
Speaking of 0,
He's going to want to grab
0
that
counters on compasses. Oh.
Yeah, 0 out of 10 and in Swamp Palace too, yeah.
Right.
That will turn into a 1 though. That won't happen. Schulzer's won't turn into a 1.
That's true.
You can't avoid picking up the item on the boss.
Doesn't quite get the 0 cycle on Argus there.
That's a really tough 0 cycle though, so does a nice job getting finishing that up pretty quickly.
Oh, definitely. As Schulzer heads up to the 6th floor.
You know, with 4 keys, he doesn't have to kill the mini Helma.
Or open those chests. Well, I guess the time difference is basically exactly a GT climb.
And it sure looks that way. Because it looks like Jet's going to walk in about the time Schulzer finishes up.
What?
What was that?
What?
Oh, wow. He did remember not to open the chest, though.
Got to keep that pure 00 on the compass.
Exactly.
And at least he didn't fall because Moldorm would have respawned.
Yep, would have had to do it all over again.
Nice double there.
Yeah, you think I think that was a double. Sometimes the game gets a little goofy if the balls hit at the same time.
I heard the sounds
counted.
far enough apart.
There we go. There it is.
Yep. 2 doubles, 2 singles. And what will the pig tell us today?
We're about to find out. Okay.
Of course, giving us a lecture about bacon.
Yep. A very nice phase 2 there.
And it's impressive that for all that, Jet's got to be through the gauntlet before he sees the dot done. And get used to that message about finding the arrows on planet Xevis, because we're going to be seeing it a lot during the main tournament.
And Schulzer are having no trouble with that torch bush. Who cares if you don't have a lamp?
Jet also having a bit of Landmo 2 trouble, but he's through. And we've got to be more than halfway through Ganon here.
Oh yeah, I would say so. Schulzer's doing a very nice job getting all those sword spins in. Here it is.
So get your GGs in as Schulzer ties up this series at 1 apiece.
Finishing up with an official race time of 1:26.28. Very nicely done. Looks like Jet's going to go ahead and finish this out.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Schulzer in here in the meantime.
Yeah, Jet picking up that bottle. I'm not sure that magic refill. I'm not sure he has a lot of stuff left in his bottles.
And we've got Schulzer in here. GG.
GG.
So,
it was awkward.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Being in maybe go mode after the GTPR in Ice Planets was really weird. I was like, maybe I'm in go mode if TR is a pendant. Then you see the first pendant up.
And then you go to Skull Woods, and Skull Woods is a pendant, yeah.
Oh no, please no Ice Sultan. No.
Oh, and Schulzer, you didn't manage to open that post-Moldorm chest to get your mitts.
Drossie's kidding. We have no idea what's in that chest.
No, it was the mitts. Jet just pulled them.
Jet just pulled the mitts? Oh, I missed it. Well, it's inverted for you. Mitts can be in Moldorm chest. That's not something you see every day.
I did like your little dance around it, though.
Let's say I stole that move from another German runner and made it public. And I told him I'm doing that today, so I just did it.
But yeah, I guess probably the biggest thing for you was that you followed that desert big key to desert and then immediately decided to dip Pendant Mire as well.
Yep, that was a big play.
I don't want to go on the mountain because I was missing a hookshot or the mids to basically open the entire mountain. And then I got, and it just was, Maya has 5 items and you already got a medallion, you got 2 keys, let's just side out and see if there's something inside. And then I found hookshot and then I somehow a little bit go mode seed already because I knew I'm not that far away from go mode. I may need a tier big key and eye slot, but otherwise I'm pretty set on keys and items.
Yep.
And I pretty much went ahead and skipped everything. that takes time.
Yeah, no, certainly skipping left side swamp helped you a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the left side swamp skip personally. A lot of people love to do that check. I'm a fan of skipping it.
Yeah, it's only one item in the end, and I had to clear up different crystal dungeons at that point, and I was like, yeah, if I'm doing all those awkward checks now, and I thought maybe in one of the crystal dungeon, which it was in the end, I might lose because I just check everything, so I went ahead and skipped a lot of stuff. At least it failed a lot of stuff, especially on the mountain where I skip Spider Cave, Mimic Cave, the entirety of TR, besides Laser Bridge.
And get your GGs in for Jet, sticking out the seed, taking down Ganon. And he will be crossing the bridge at 1:30:29, so almost exactly 4 minutes after Schulzer.
Yeah, that ice rod was Jet's big advantage over you. He found it in the first trip into Pod because he used his keys a little bit differently than you did. He missed the sword there, but he got the one at Uncle.
Yeah, I can imagine loading the seed extremely different if you just clear your Sphere 1 checks and go to Bridge of Outcast even before going to Pod. Then you find Mirror, you find your flute early, you go to Keg, and then you can basically god load the seed. Maybe skip the Disappeared Spiky for a longer time and discover its pictures.
Yeah, your routing was very different, and we have Jet with us as well. GG's to Jet.
Hey, GG.
But the two big things that happened to Jet, well, one was Ice Palace. The Cold Stare fight wasn't exactly kind. But
I'm upset at that because I think if we replay the tapes, you'll see maybe he got me, but the ice got me by like 2 pixels. It was
it was really close. It was like
you're not supposed to move diagonally away, and I'm like, oh, I beat the boss. I'm just gonna move away from the ice. If you move at like I don't know, it's like an L shape sort of, you'll always dodge the ice, and that was just bad. And I was talking to Megawatt after the race, and he yelled at me for going right back in. I should have taken the risk that it was a pendant, and that was actually true. Felt so bad. But it didn't cost me the race. 4 minutes is really close, but I lost about 2.5 to 3 minutes from going back in. That's what the time difference ended up being.
Yeah, I don't.
So
that was a big. And then we were thinking that after you go to the mountain, you get your hookshot, you go to the mountain as you do. You do Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny and everything, all the easy checks. But then when it came down to, do you go do Hera, which you can full clear, versus dip parts of Turtle Rock?
Yeah.
You went to Turtle Rock. What was keeping you away from Hera?
Well, it wasn't keeping me away. Laser Bridge, I think, is dense. Again, this is something else talking about Megawatt, because he's yelling at me. Clearly, like, it's hard to make it that sort of call. One item from Go Mode, I'm like, if Kane's on Laser Bridge, this is awesome. So I'm going to defend the Laser Bridge play. I shouldn't have done the middle of Turtle Rock. I'm fair. Like, I could do mimics. I can get, like, 2 items. Like, it's just sort of like, not quite muscle memory, but it's sort of like going through the motions. But that's why I'm like, I skipped 1 chest in Turtle Rock that I could get to. I was skipping Spiral. I'm like, I just need to get the Hera, clear that up, and then I can come back if I really decide to. Or honestly, at that point, I think I was just going to go to Pod or something afterwards. But yeah, I think the Laser Bridge was okay. It didn't pan out, but I think it could have been really good if Kane was there.
Sure.
I shouldn't have done the middle of Turtle Rock, agreed, and went right to Hera. I think if I didn't die Cold Stare, or just left after I died, and did Hera first, I might have won. Like, it was that close. Like, this scene, I felt like there was very little we could do differently. But you guys were saying we routed differently?
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What was different? If you guys remember.
My only question to you was, did you skip Village of Outcast in the beginning, or did you do it after finding Hammer and
Jet, you did a lot of those things, the Village of Outcasts and the Kakariko checks a lot earlier. Schulzer did prioritize dungeons a little bit more, did Eastern earlier.
I think
it's hot at the same time.
After I got my, like, so my route was Skull Woods first, and then I did Hype Cave, and it gave us, money and Hammer and a Pod key. I'm like, okay, guess I'm going to Pod.
you guys went to pod right away, but that's where the divergence happened because.
Yeah, then I
as
had
soon
my
as you got your light world access.
I want to do all of the things. So I went over to Village of Outcasts, did that, went into Light World, did all that, and then we got Mirror as well. And then it's just sort of like, I'm just going to combine all the things. This is great.
Yeah, Schulzer, on the other hand, did like Eastern. I think he did Eastern and then...
Well, he did South Shore and then Eastern.
South Shore and then Eastern, right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, therefore I missed the flute, the mirror, and the boots for a longer time than you, I guess.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, Jet, you definitely got all those quite a bit sooner.
Yeah, Schulzer had a sword sooner because he got because he didn't do the Dark Maze in his first trip into pod. He opened that front door and jumped down and got a tempered sword, which gave us the opportunity. Yeah, so gave us the opportunity to learn something that apparently in hard mode, Uncle will be holding a tempered sword if you have all your swords when you get there.
Well, he was holding a master sword for me when I went.
Yeah, he was. But for Schulzer got there, he was holding a tempered sword, even though Schulzer had all the swords. So we learned something.
Yeah, tempered sword. I can go out already.
One of my practicing silvers. So I had both. Silvers was at the dig spot, so I was able to pick it up, but then it turned into rupees when I picked it up.
Aww.
So, that's hard item for you guys.
It is hard item.
You actually dig spot? Gotcha.
No, he's talking about different.
You mean
seed.
dig game?
A different seed. Different seed.
Oh, different seed. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, because
I was like,
the shovel was on Ped.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't fall for doing that.
and Tennis was so loaded with the Maya Biki, the TR Biki, and the GT Biki. I was like, where are all these Bikis coming from now? I may not need them anymore. I thought it was my Go mod item in the seed because I skipped Dark Maze. And I was like, please, be a pendant, please.
Oh, really? That was your go mode?
Yeah.
So Kane was my go mode. That's why it's like if I went to Hera first, maybe it would have been much closer.
Yeah, it would have been closer. We'll never know.
Time.
It was a very interesting.
Yeah, race. No, I mean,
it started to come down to what was going to happen first? Was Jet going to go to Hera, or was Schulzer going to go get his ice rod in pod? You know?
And of course, all of the money was in pod. I almost went to Soda and I realized I have 400 rupees. This is not gonna go well. Which would have been better for me because then I would have been faster in pod and not have cleared Eastern Hydrocast in it entirely, and then would have just found my ice panda sooner. Sooner.
Yep.
And speaking of ice, Jet, that was something I was wondering even before the death in ice, like why you went there so early without either the flippers to put it in logic or the cane to do icebreaker.
Or even a hook shot to make it easier.
I hate icebreaker. I do it, but I'm gonna maintain my hate of that trick, by the way. So I don't necessarily factor it in. I will say I did the math, and icebreaker versus non-icebreaker is a 1.5 minute difference. So I am, by going there without cane, I am saying I'm wasting an extra 1.5 minutes if my opponent found cane instead.
Yeah, I assume that's in a full clear because it's actually really close. Yeah, because in a go mode it's like 15 seconds or something.
The sanity changes it a lot because you have the small key to go to the right side immediately and don't have to waste.
Right.
And
for sure.
So my thought was it's a fully beatable dungeon. Like, you have the fake flipper over there, but I can full clear it. So I like to prioritize full clearing a dungeon over, doing other things. And my thought process at the time is, hey, what if Kane's in there? That would be cool.
Which it can be.
Or what if I get some pod small keys and then I could just fully clear that? Mm-hmm. Or I think I was missing desert small key at the time, and there were some other big keys I could have gotten. There was something that was required in there. I forget one of the big keys we got in there.
Yeah,
I think it was CR and GT big key.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, so it's so that's good. I got something out of it, but that was sort of my thought. I'm like, I had a lot of things. It wasn't just hookshot and cane that I needed. There was stuff, or mitts. Mitts could have been in there. I felt like there was a good collection of items that could have been there. So that's why I'm like, I can full clear this. I don't care if I don't have a cane and cane icebreaker, because I just need to do this. This is 8 items. It was sort of it was either that or I think Meyer. which I was sort of going back and forth, like going into Mire but not being able to clear it versus doing a dungeon I could full clear. And I'm like, let's just do ice. I had, aside from Kane, like I felt like there was no good reason not to. But
okay,
it's basically a 50-50 for Maya or ice at that point. You know, Maya is a green pendant. You don't have the big key because it was behind Maya, logically speaking. And I just went into Maya because it was a desert, and I was like, yeah, I have Quake. Let's just dip Maya for 5 items. I already have 2 small keys. Let's check out what's inside. And it turned out good for me.
So I got a question for both of you. I don't know if you're looking at the restream right now, but you might notice that we only have 1 red crystal marked. Neither one of you ever went to the bomb vendor until Schulzer. You decided to just pick up the big bomb. We have no idea what the other red crystal.
I don't know what the second. I can tell you, Swamp was definitely one. I had
we know
no
Swamp
idea
was
we
one.
had it.
And we know TR wasn't.
It was, I think, Desert or Eastern. Was it maybe Thieves? One of those. It could be one of those.
Yeah, I mean, we know it wasn't TR because Schulzer hadn't done TR when he got the big bomb. And we know it was Swamp because you guys got the map. And neither one of you wanted to talk to the bomb vendor.
I do want to talk to the bomb vendor if I'm going to Hazu Castle, but that's it. I didn't have a chance to go into Hazu Castle before getting that bomb, so I combined them.
That's reasonable.
And after Hell, I looked at my menu and was like, yeah, I already have one of the crystal, and I know that Swampert is the other one. The main reason I checked if Swampert is a crystal was like, I have 1 fear. This could be maybe a Havasi. Turned out it wasn't, luckily.
Yeah, well, when Swamp Palace is a crystal, you don't have to worry about that stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. And it would have been required anyways for the mountain, so yeah.
All right.
It was fun days. GG, chat.
GG.
126 in Christianity.
Yeah, I mean,
don't see that often. But I guess Inverted is a little bit faster than normal Christianity.
That's what I was about to say. Sub 130, you know, in pretty much any mode is a good time, let alone inverted keys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I totally agree.
This was a ridiculous seed. It was a very fast seed.
All right. So now we're tied 1-1. Schulzer, you can have the honor of being only the second person to beat Jet this season, and only the winning only the third race that these guys have lost. Only the second person to beat anyone on Fendron Drifters, in fact. We have on Sunday at 3:10. No, sorry, that's the wrong one. It's 2:10. Sunday on 2:10, we have Megawatt versus Shireen in the open matchup. What do you guys want to say to your teammates going into that match?
No pressure, Megawatt.
Well, I will say this. If he was yelling at you after this one, you have every right to yell at him if he messes up on Sunday. So.
And if plays against Shireen. And we have to carry Shireen. Yeah, I look forward to the days. I think Shireen is a good shot at winning this, but it's an open mode. Can happen anything in that one. I guess my pick for this Inverted was, I guess you don't like Inverted that much. I'm not sure. I guess that could have put me a little bit. I think it was a good choice to pick Inverted against you. Not gonna lie.
It worked. So I don't know if it worked because it was inverted, but it worked.
Definitely, I think, in your favor. I don't know. There's no real mode that like I dislike, so I'm pretty much good with everything. I think the hardest part was that this is probably the first time I had an inverted race this whole league, so I had to like quickly, practice and do a refresher for it. That was really the big thing.
Yeah, I had like everything from sortless 80 keys to 80 keys
to always 80 keys, right?
Randomizer. Played a lot of keys in the playoffs. But it's fun. Looking forward to game 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You got a game 4 for sure, so, should be good.
Have you thought about who you're sending to it, or you're going to wait and see which one of you is up 2-1?
We got to have a team meeting.
Yeah, we need a team meeting as well. Let's see what Shireen is doing first.
Right. So yeah, one of you guys is going to be up 2-1 after Sunday.
Yeah. I'm glad we're going to get a game, at least a game 4 and maybe even a game 5. The finals shouldn't be only 3 games. So.
Yeah, not lost the first victory achieved against Invitational. Can at least hold against them. But yeah, looking forward to it. Maybe. Yeah, I have to play again. Obviously, thank you at least for commentating and MMSNES to Carthage for taking the seat. For Christianity alone, no, that's not too easy. So thank you for setting all that up.
Yeah, shout out to our tracker, MM to NES cartridge.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet, and you can't shout out those trackers enough. Doing all that, doing the hard work.
Especially in Key Sanity when there's just so much to keep track of. And give our runners a follow. I don't think we got around to saying that either, but, you know, they're not done. 2 more games in this series, maybe 3 more games in this series. Chances are, you know, we'll
might
be
see
seeing one
again.
or both of them soon. And yeah, thanks, Tracy. It was great working with you.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to, like we were talking about this earlier, we haven't gotten to do commentary together this season, so really glad we got to do one here in the final. So yeah, thank you for asking me to join you today.
Yeah, no, I just figured, you know, it's been a long season and we should definitely do one together. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Been good. And hey, the main tournament starting up before too long for those of you who somehow missed the memo after the first match in this series. So that'll be the next big event once these finals are over. But I think that'll do it for us here then.
Yep. Thank you all for watching. And don't forget to tune in on Sunday. Sunday at 2:10 Eastern.
And have a good weekend until then.